Excuse me.
All right, if everybody could grab their seats, we're going to start in 2 minutes.
2 minutes, and I mean it.
Two minutes.
That's ridiculous.
Hi. Photo.
Here we go. Hey, Delegate One.
Yeah,
You still by your lonesome?
I'm completely fine with that.
I got all these chairs. They're all mine.
Might have saw Ferch a bit ago, but might have saw Ferch a little bit ago. I know, and I
All
know
right, 20 seconds.
Tyler Ricks is somewhere.
Yes, sir.
David had to not come for some unspecified familial reason, and I haven't heard from Kevin Rhodes. Yep.
Final call, grab a seat, we're going to get started. And this is the exciting part. You do not want to miss.
Hey, man.
Did you change?
No, but I'm going to.
We got this though, right?
Have it out in the car.
They're selling their bugs for like one of those petty bidders. They're selling their bugs for all this stuff. Sick party.
All right, I am going to call the afternoon session back in order. Please grab your seats. Please.
President Trump became a delegate
use
somehow.
what the good Lord gave you with 2 ears and 1 mouth. So we're going to start with Dale Everson, who is the chair of our redistricting Republican Party Redistricting Advisory Committee, which obviously we know the importance of it. We understand the problem we currently have. And so Dale is going to come up and give a brief report.
The
Dale
orange
Everson.
and blue, stand and cheer for you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, committee members. The redistricting committee was formed about 1.5 years ago. There are 14 members, 2 from each region, nominated by the region chairs and appointed by the state party chair. We met on this Thursday, the 28th. You should have a handout, or you may have to share one, I don't know, but I'd like to thank Nick Wren for really hustling and getting these copies out to you. So here's the situation we're facing. After every census, we have a reapportionment commission that goes to work. The issue is there are 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats, and it's going to be tied most of the time and end up in court. So our committee's been working for the last year on a solution, and last year in Coeur d'Alene, we came up with a proposal. You will see it in the middle of the first page. The current structure of the Reapportionment Commission is outlined in Article 3, Section 2 of the Idaho Constitution. So, on Thursday, the committee, by an 11-2 vote, reaffirmed our commitment to this solution. And I'll read the solution. The Idaho Republican Party supports the state legislature in efforts to reform Idaho's reapportionment laws through constitutional amendment, providing for a 7th voting member of the Reapportionment Commission. The 7th member shall be elected by a majority vote of the 7 constitutional officers. So there's no way you're going to have a tie in this situation. When you're talking about a constitutional amendment, it's certainly different than a party rule. We have to be conscious that we're talking about the entire citizenry of Idaho being affected by this. And all the committee members were very aware that we had to make it simple and easy to understand and could be supported by a majority of voters regardless of party affiliation or political leaning. So what I'm asking you to do, this has already been approved again, I'm asking you delegates to visit with your legislators. Get on board with this, but you need to do it before the 2019 session. Visit with your legislators this summer and fall yet and say, we need a solution to this inevitable tie that's currently structured in the Constitution. We need help. We need some firepower behind it, and I hope you will participate. The committee appreciates all your efforts. If you have any questions, you can contact me. That's fine. But we got to get on board and get something done, or in 2022, we're going to be facing the same thing over again. Okay, and on the back page, we took a look at 2 statutory proposed changes. The first one's already been approved by both the Redistricting Committee and the State Central Committee in January of this year. So what we're trying to do is make it so when the Reapportionment Commission meets and they can't meet the criteria in setting new legislative districts that are already outlined by statute, what they have to do is at least give a written justification why they couldn't meet those criteria. And that will be a basis for review by the commission and also legislators to see why they couldn't meet it and what the remedy might be. Now, if you look in the middle of that page, Section 9 is stated. That is statute number 72-1506. That's currently law. Right below that is Section 10. And that's a new proposal for this same statute. And I'll read that. If the Reapportionment Commission is not able to meet compliance as stated in 72-1506, as stated in 9, then the commission shall identify requirements sub-district for legislative representative seats. Every district has 2 representatives, and both representatives would represent the entire district. But we may be looking at sub-districts in one of these huge geographical districts where one legislator has to travel 6 hours to get to the other side. If you had another legislator, another representative in the other end of that district, at least the constituents would have better representation. This proposal was approved by the Redistricting Committee, but I would like you to consider voting on this today, and I would request your approval of Section 10 as highlighted in bold print. Mr. Chairman, I so move that Section 10 be approved by the body.
Is there a second? Steve Pinther. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any debate? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Chair is not in doubt. It does pass. Thank you, Dale.
And one more comment. Oh, go ahead. Just to finish up, thank you, Jonathan. At the very bottom, you'll notice we also, at this page, we had a presentation from Lee Barron from Camas County. discussing his proposal for one senator and at least one representative per county. We listened to his comments. Quite frankly, we ran out of time on Thursday to consider any action on this proposal. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale, and thank you for all your good work. And just a little bit of recognition. Dale was region chair when I was executive director, and I was very pleased to see when I came back on as chairman. Still a monthly donor, and does yeoman's work, and truly appreciate you, Dale, and also appreciate the committee's work on this redistricting, because it is very important, and we're going to do something about it. It needs to be fixed, and you have my word and commitment that we're going to do our best to get it done and work with our legislators. So thank you. All right, so next up we have officer elections. I'm going to pass the gavel to First Vice Chair Trent Clark, but just once again a reminder, nominations need to come from the floor from a delegate. Nominating speeches are 2 minutes. Seconding speeches are 1 minute. Candidate speeches are 3. I mentioned earlier about being alphabetical. We've decided to draw names out of a hat regarding the order of the candidate speaking. Also, transparency, accountability. The ballots and the counting will be supervised by the staff, but if you are nominated, please assign someone to go back and oversee the counting to make sure that it is transparent and fair and orderly. It does require a majority to win. If we don't have a majority, we will drop off the last place candidate and do another vote. I think that is it. And I think Trent will touch on this, but we do have on the sides packets for each of the county and legislative district chairs to collect and distribute to the delegates in their county and legislative district for voting, and they will collect it and turn it in. So, Trent, it's all yours.
So the first item of business is, as Chairman Parker expressed, the method of voting involves packets that have a number of ballots in each packet for the delegation. Many of you are saying, well, what if our number for our delegation has changed? So I'm going to ask our Secretary, Marlon, to step forward, and she will obtain any amendments to your delegation total that you as chair want to offer at this time.
Ada County Central Committee on YouTube.
Thank you. Would anyone who have changes to the number in their delegation,
Ada County Republican
please
Central
stand,
Committee.
and I will state your county or your LD district and tell me what the change is. You now have 14. Okay. Okay. Jerome is down to 2. Okay. Okay. Idaho is 8. Canyon County is not. Canyon County is 9. Kootenai County is 31. Benewell County is 5. Bonneville is 30. Okay. To the back of the room on the left.
Legislative District 22 is 1.
Legislative District 22 is 1.
Legislative District 33 is 2.
33 is 2.
34 is 2.
34 is 2. Okay, back to the side of the room, the front. Nez Perce, 4. Clinton. Lewis, And LD6? LD6 are both 0. Okay. Hand up. Bannock County has 22. LD 25 is 1. Okay, left side of the room. Legislative District 10 is 2. Yes, sir.
LD 20 is 2.
LD 20 is 2. Anyone else? Yes, us. LD 12 is 2. Okay, anyone else? Oh, yes, sir. Rod. Ada County is now 35. Okay, anyone else? Okay, I'm going to just step down for a minute.
We have a double check. I'm pretty sure we'll have the appropriate number of ballots. Ladies and gentlemen, Republicans, we're now to engage in an IQ test. Nominations for chairman of the Idaho Republican Party are now open.
Mr. Chairman,
Let's see. We were
Marcia
seeking
Bjorn
recognition.
from Madison County.
Yes, Marcia.
I would like to nominate Jonathan Parker as our state GOP. He stepped in as in the term, in the middle of someone else's term, and has done a great job. I feel like he's trying to be fair to everybody.
Okay.
But that doesn't count as a 2-minute speech.
I understand. Jonathan Parker, the name of Jonathan Parker has been entered into nomination. Are there any further nominations? Nominations are being called a second time. I'm afraid that other than Marcia has something against you, Mr. Parker. Yes, I know. Nominations are being called a third time. Okay. Let me ask the parliamentarians. We have a procedure set forward. Is it possible to deviate if we have unanimous consent? By unanimous consent, would we be willing to not have the regular process and accept a second at this point in time?
Yes.
Okay. If I see no objection, then I'd be willing to recognize a second on the motion by Ms. Bjorn. Okay, we have a second, and we have no other pending nominations. Representing Vice Chair Matthews.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we cast a unanimous ballot for Jonathan Parker for chairman of the Idaho Republican Party.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Johnson, LD 17. I second the motion.
Thank you very much. There's a motion and a second. Any debate on that motion? Any debate? Any debate? See, Wayne, I can learn. Hearing no debate, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then by unanimous ballot, Chairman Jonathan Parker has been reelected for a second term.
Thank you, Trent, and thank you. Thank you for placing your trust in me to serve as your state party chairman. It's an honor I don't take lightly, and for those that know me, and to be frank, you know, there was a lot of reluctance to take on this position because I know the burden it entails and the time commitment and so on. But it is too big of a year, too much is at stake to sit on the sidelines. And by placing your trust in me, you have my commitment. I will continue to work hard, and nobody will work harder than me. And for those that also know me, I don't like to lose. And thank you. I'm honored, and I'm doing this to serve. And anything the state party can do for you, please let us know. I don't have political aspirations. I don't like the spotlight, to be honest. It's kind of hard to speak. But I believe in this party. I mentioned this is my Idaho family. And I believe that our party has the solutions to what currently ails our nation, and that conservative Republican principles in action do work, and that Idaho can set the example for the rest of the nation to follow, that we can become the envy of the nation, and as Ronald Reagan said, become the shining city on the hill that does set the example. So I'll really quickly finish that I mentioned this prior when I was elected chairman, but please know that my commitment is always to follow, enforce the rules of the party, and treat everybody with respect and equality. Ensure a competent and efficient staff that not only wins elections, and I have experience in that, but also provides value, that we're here to serve you, that we want to help you, and any input you have, we want to hear from you. I want to leave a lasting legacy. As the youngest chairman in the history of the party, until Tyler Ricks pointed out William Borrow was whatever. You know, it's very important to me to reach the next generation and to ensure that the Republican Party remains relevant. And I've got some ideas for that. And then finally, and the staff know this, you know, and when in doubt, always err on the side of transparency, support our platform, and empower the locals, empower youth, the grassroots, the heart and soul of the party, because you're the ones that make it happen. You're the ones that made the trip here. And bottom line, I'm here, the staff is here to serve, and thank you. It's an honor I don't take lightly. So thank you very much.
Now, Mr. Chairman, as you're finishing with your tirade, everybody stand and give him a hand, please.
Enjoyed Sherry's speech, and I wish my dad could see this, because similar story. I didn't grow up with privilege, and nobody in my family had ever, you know, been in any prominent position or involved in politics or really done more, you know, with their life than the bare minimum. And so I know my dad's looking down. Okay, so game time, game face. So the first position up is first vice chair, and you'll notice the last position is second vice chair. The purpose of that is the rules state that first vice chair needs to be from an opposite congressional district from the second. At this time, I will now consider nominating for the position of vice chair.
Mr. Chairman, I rise today to nominate Tyler Hurst for first vice chairman of the Idaho Republican Party. If any of you know Tyler for very long, you know that he is a true believer in the Idaho GOP principles. And his experience for a young man in the party is really broad. He is serving as second vice chair right now for the Idaho GOP. He has served as chairman of the Idaho Young Republicans. He's chairman of the Resolution Standing Committee. He's been a precinct committeeman. He's volunteered on many campaigns. He's a small business owner. And in addition, I just want to talk a little bit about Tyler and his support of me when I was interim chair. He was always there for me in the Coeur d'Alene meeting. He had my back. And supported and helped from day one on that to get that winter meeting going. And when my daughter had our first grandchild on the same day of the Hall of Fame Awards, he picked that up without any question. I called him and he picked it up and said, "I'll do it for you, Mike, I'll cover," and no questions asked. And everybody knows Tyler. His energy and enthusiasm is contagious. He's just that way. So for those reasons, I would ask that you all join me in voting for Tyler Hurst for first vice chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. That is a nomination, and that is your 2 minutes. So is there a second for Tyler Hurst next?
No, thank you. I have to take
Chairman, I am Michelle Hamilton, the chairman from Canyon County, and I would like to second the nomination of Tyler Hurst for the first vice chair. Well, I don't need to go over all his accolades again. He's a good guy. Everybody knows he's a great guy, but he's also a great father and a great husband. I mean, how many people are committed enough to name their daughter Palin? That's commitment. He has a sincere heart. He makes everything fun. He was, as they said, chair of the Young Republicans for several years. And he works really hard to make sure that even us not young Republicans had fun and were welcome in the group. So I always enjoyed all their activities, and most importantly, I served with him on resolutions. And I think the leadership should always be fair to everyone, even if they don't agree with their political positions, even if they don't agree with the resolution being brought forward. And Tyler always worked hard to make sure that everyone felt heard and everyone left not feeling aggravated or unsatisfied by the process. And that's, to me, the best reason to nominate and vote for Tyler Hurst for vice chair.
Good time. Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Are there any other nominations on the floor?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Steve Vick, Kootenai County. It is my privilege and honor to nominate Jennifer Locke as first vice chair of the Republican Party. I want to tell you a little bit about her. I've known Jennifer since my first campaign in 2010. Jennifer is first and foremost a wife and a mother, but she also has a lot of other accomplishments. She has a Bachelor of Arts in Economics and was a small business owner for 9 years. She is currently, and for the last year and a half, has been Chief Deputy Clerk in Kootenai County. She has been actively engaged in Republican politics since 1996, although you think she can't possibly be that old, but she says she has, and worked on Bob Dole's campaign in 96. She's been a precinct committee woman in Kootenai County since 2012. She was, in 2016, an active Trump supporter, working as state director of delegate selection. She was a Trump delegate to the 2016 convention and one of Trump's electors in the 2016 election, and proudly cast her vote for Donald Trump. Her activity in the state party has been very well known as well. She's received awards from the party in 2016 and 2018. Her award in 2018 was for the Outstanding Republican Worker. When people say that somebody has energy, that's an understatement for Jennifer. I say she has infectious enthusiasm. If you know her, she just lights up a room and is a great help to anybody that comes. She has extensive campaign knowledge and her messaging. One of the things I think is important in this election is Democrats are more energized and organized in Idaho than I have seen. I think her enthusiasm, knowledge, and feminine touch will be important to Idaho's next election.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Mr. Chairman. Janice McGeehan, delegate from Bonneville County. It's my honor to provide a second for the nomination for Jennifer Locke to become our next first vice chair. I got to know Jennifer in 2016 when she was looking for support for Trump. She called me, and I'm grateful for her that I became a Trump delegate and had the honor to go to the Republican National Convention and vote in support of our nominee. We both share a love for President Trump, and the infectious enthusiasm that I observed from her on the floor of the convention is the same enthusiasm that she'll bring to all of the Republican nominees this fall. She is dedicated to the Idaho Republican Party and the ideals that keep this state strong and united. With Jennifer's experience and personable nature, she will be the strongest advocate for continued success of our Republican candidates in November and continued united Republican leadership in our state house. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I ask for your support for Jennifer Locke.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Are there any other nominations for the position of first vice chair? All right, without that, we will close nominations. Per the instructions I gave earlier, we're going to give each candidate 3 minutes. I do have 2 names in a Republican mug here. I like it. It's not as cool as mine that says world's best boss, but Tyler Hurst will go first and Jennifer Locke will go second. And remember, 3 minutes.
And it's very humbling to be here. First of all, I want you guys to know that as I embark on this opportunity to run as first vice chair, how thankful I am for a good friend in Mike Matthews. Mike has served this party with distinction for the last 12 years as first vice chair, and we're going to miss him. Mike, we love you, and we appreciate you. Please join me in giving a standing ovation to Mike Matthews. So I've been second vice chair for about a year now, 2 years now, and it's been a really fun time working with different chairmen and different members of the committee around the state. It's given me the time to travel around the state and to get to know members of each organization around the state. I've attended over 50 Lincoln Days, and that's been great. I've learned many different things about each one of you, and the ones of you that I know on a personal level. It's been great to get to know you, and I love you. You know, so when I started thinking about, you get up here and you want to talk about yourself a little bit, and you want to think about how you're going to handle it, I think about kind of where I've been in politics. And my start in politics is I had a father who taught me correct principles and values, just like you. And it made me really emotional to do that. My dad drove here today to be here. I just want you to know I love you. I appreciate you. I don't know why I'm crying. If you didn't get any sleep last night because you were a young Republican, you cried too. My dad taught me to be a Republican, and he taught me about pro-life values and protecting the things that we hold so dear: guns, economic prosperity, and being pro-life. My dad was an activist. By activist, I mean he listened to the radio and called in on the Rush Limbaugh show. But I have loved being part of this party. And I want to say how much this party means to me. We've been through a primary, and that's tough. But today we come together and we unify as a party. We unify behind the principles that have been taught to us by our parents and by those who have been around us to help us to hold Republican principles proud. I proudly support Brad Little and Janice McKeon as they win in November. We know that we need to unify behind the principles that hold us dear, and I would ask for your support as first vice chair, and let us continue to bring in Republican principles and support the things that we hold so true. And I say that with so much admiration to you, and thank you so much for your support.
Good timing. Jennifer Locke.
Wasn't any question about it.
Yeah, don't envy her.
Well, thank you very much for letting me be here today, and I want to thank Steve Vick. He's my state senator from Hayden. I live in Kootenai County in Hayden, Idaho. And I also want to thank Janice. She was a great supporter early on with Trump when during the primary no one was like for Trump here. It was a Ted Cruz state, which we loved Ted Cruz too, and we loved Trump at the end. And he won, and I was very excited about that. So let me start off just telling you about myself. I've been married for 15 years. I have 4 lovely children. I have 3 boys, and my last child was a girl. I have a degree in economics from the University of Southern Maine. I am currently the Chief Deputy Clerk of Kootenai County, where we manage 91 employees, 5 departments, and a budget of $7.2 million. As Steve said, I've been actively campaigning since I was 18 years old. The first campaign I worked on was still making phone calls in Miami, Florida when I was going to college at the university, or excuse me, Miami-Dade Community College. I've been a precinct committee woman since 2012 in Kootenai County. I also stepped up and became the elections chair in 2014 and 2016 in the fall to help make sure our slate won. And we are very successful in North Idaho in turning out the vote for the Republican Party. And I want to continue doing that. I think it's very important this year that we all get behind the Republican slate from the top down, because I'm concerned. I've never seen the Democrats energized like I've seen this year. I see people come in and say, I just want to vote for Paulette, and there is bumper stickers everywhere, even in Kootenai County. So I think it's very important that we all get behind the slate, and it's in effect not only the top of this ticket, but also these county races, which are very important, and also the state races. In 2016, I was a Trump delegate, and then I got the privilege of being a Trump elector, and it was an honor. I received about 2 full trash bags of letters asking me not to vote for Trump, and it was intimidating. I received phone calls and Facebook messages, but on December 19, 2016, I got to go to Boise, Idaho, along with 3 other electors, and cast your vote for Trump, and it was an honor. I'm very proud every day to watch our president. I wake up with a smile on my face knowing how courageous and bold he is and what he's doing for this country. He really is making America great. So, in my position here, I'm not necessarily the best speaker, but I do want to serve this party, and I think I have a message and a vision to help us continue getting elected Republicans in the fall. I have extensive knowledge and branding and influence of trying to get that message out correctly, and I will do everything I can behind the scenes to support our ticket and get that message out. Lastly, I just want to thank everyone for giving me the opportunity. This is my 3rd convention, and I truly enjoyed being a delegate and meeting everyone across the state. It's been an honor these last 6 years to get to know everyone and make new friendships as I had today. So I thank you, and I ask you kindly for your vote. Thanks.
All right, so we will start the balloting process. Cindy, so if the county chairs and LD chairs could make your way to your assigned table. The CD over here, the others over there.
Sharpie it, doing official colors.
All right.
Oh, Nikki had to leave. Her husband got super sick at breakfast. No worries. We did get a picture. Sad. I'll get a picture with you. We'll get a picture. Yeah. Here we go. Here she is.
That's good. Going good. Yeah.
everybody get a color coded bag? No, they're all.
No. Going to have to ask his brother right there.
Make sure that we,
Yeah.
whatever he said.
I've done it till. So we got
Oh yeah, you know me. I'll take this.
Yes. So Cindy is telling me, and I do whatever Cindy asks. So right on the ballot, fold the ballot, and you're only voting for first vice chair. To your county chair, or legislative district chair representative, who will compile them, put them in the plastic baggie, and then you'll submit them to Cindy on the side. Where do they turn in the ballots? Oh yeah, the staff. And then also be sure to appoint a representative to oversee the process, transparency, accountability, as